Hello, Thrifty music collectors, and those of you watching this on YouTube. I'm Tim. I'm coming at you from the music cell, and this is another episode of Tim's Thrifty Music. It's been a little under a week since I've made the last episode, but I looked at my pile that I've been listening to, even after the video I made for my new series, Tim's memories and music. This pile was still getting pretty large. I took the ones out that I used in my video yesterday from this pile, but this pile's still pretty big. See, last Wednesday, before I made my video, I had was up in Madison for some medical tests, and after my test, we stopped at a thrift store, and they got several albums for 50 cents, a lot of them from the 70s, and I got 21 albums out together, and I have a lot of them in here. See, I have realized I'm listening to almost 10 albums a day now. Well, with that said, let me get started with the music. First up, Melissa Manchester, Don't Cry Out Loud. Of course, this is on Arista from 1978. Of course, this is the one with the hit Don't Cry Out Loud. I like Melissa Manchester with her bluesy and soulful sound, but this is a pretty good album. It's not really, doesn't have a disco sound to it like was popular at that time. Next up, from 79, Steve Forbert, Jackrabbit Slim. Of course, this is the one with Romeo's tune. It's an Emperor from 79. I thoroughly enjoyed this album. I had heard Romeo's tune. I hadn't heard much of his music before this, but I always liked Romeo's tune whenever I heard it, and I discovered this in there. Of course, I'm trying to get away from using the term vinyl, going back to like what we used back in the 70s, where it would be records and this would be an album, and the smaller ones would be 45s, but in the case of this one that came with it, this is a 33, so I'll just say a single. But it's a one-sided single that came with it. It doesn't say anything on the cover about this. This is called The Oil Song. I don't know if it normally came with it or not. It's a white label demo copy. If any of my viewers know anything about it, just let me know in the comments if I don't know whether it normally came with this album or if I got a little extra in with it. Next up is the Pointer Sisters, Energy. This is on Planet Records from 78. This is one I thoroughly enjoyed. Of course, it has Hit Fire, which was written by Bruce Springsteen. It also has, they do a cover of Dirty Work, the Steely Dan song. Also, Stephen Stills has I Come of Age, and they do Come and Get Your Love, and cover of Longus Messina's Angry Eyes. They do a lot of covers on here, and a lot of them are of rock songs, not really soul songs, but rock. Okay, here's some disco, some Vicky Sue Robinson. This is Never Going to Let You Go. This is the album with Turn the Beat Around on it. Of course, this, like I said, it's disco. It's on RCA from 1976. Okay, never knew this guy had a solo album. This is Tony Orlando, a solo album by him from 78. He does a lot of older songs, like from the 50s and early 60s, and just that he discoized some of them. He does like Don't Let Go and Save the Last Dance for Me and You're So Fine, Let the Good Times Roll, Lover's Question, Bring It On Home to Me, Since I Met Your Baby, and Yeah. Like I said, it's on Electra from 78. This is a promo copy. Except Judy Collins, I've always loved her voice. This also from '76 on Elektra. Uh, it's there weren't any really hits off here, but like I said, I just love her singing. This is another one of the 50 Cent buys. This is a Kingston Trio. Best of the Kingston Trio, Volume 3. They do like Lemon Tree. At this line is Sierra Land and 500 Miles on here. Set that one aside till the end. Next one is I've shown you the new Christy Minstrels a few times before. This is Chim Chimchery, of course, the new Christy Minstrels. This is from like 65 or 66. This one, they seem to go a little more pop than the folk on here. They do like We'll Sing in the Sunshine, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine, Downtown, and Freedom, and I just thoroughly enjoyed the album. This is an artist that I usually have trouble finding his older albums. I really like his early hits, and finally I've found it. It's on RCA from '62. It's Neil Sedaka sings his hits. He does like Old Carol on here, and Calendar Girl, Breaking Up His Heart, Next Door to an Angel, Happy Birthday Sweet 16, and Little Devil. Okay, here's Tony Orlando and Don. You Don't Love Me Like I Love You. This is on Elektra from '75, I think it is. Yeah, of course it has it. He Don't Love You Like I Love You. And of course it has the typical Tony Orlando and Don sound to it. And I always liked them. Used to watch her show on TV when I was a teenager. And here's another one by them. I don't really recognize any songs off this one. This is another one from '75, but it's on Arista instead of Elektra. This is Skybird. I don't really recognize any songs off this one. Okay, here's solo one by Mary Travers of Peter, Paul, and Mary. This is Mary, but and she does some. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and some of the songs he sings on here. Like I like John Denver. I've always liked John Denver, and she does some of his music on here. Like she does Rhymes and Reason on here, and she also does a cover of song "Follow Me" on here. So I had "Follow Me" sung at my wedding because I was in the military at the time, and with with the words in it and stuff, thought that was fitting at the time, and my wife liked it too. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed this album. I know you hear me say that quite a bit. Okay, this one is another 50 Cent one. The cover's not isn't in the greatest shape, like it got water damage or something, but the album itself is in real nice shape, plays real nice. It's from '79 on Capitol. It's with Lynn Clark and Tillman. It's the music from them like you're used to from like the '60s, and it has a real nice sound to it. I don't really recognize any hits from it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next up, a Robert Palmer album from the '70s. This is double fun. This has every kind of people on it, and he does an interesting cover of You Really Got Me on here. This is on Island Records from '78, if I remember right. Yeah, from '78. Okay, this is John Paul Young from '78 also. This is the album Love Is in the Air. That's only hit. I think he was the one hit that wonder anyway. it's a mellower song. A lot of the songs on here are mellower. There's some that are rock a little more, but a lot of them are mellow. And I think he's from Australia. Okay, this is her debut album. This is Helen Reddy. I Don't Know How to Love You. I have several of her albums, and this is one that I did enjoy it. She does a lot of covers on here. This is from 71 on Capitol. She does like Crazy Love, you know, the Van Morrison song, and How Can I Be Sure, the Old Rascals song. The Crosby, Stills, Nash song Our House. Leon Russell's Song for You. Tim Harden's Don't Make Promises. And she does a good cover of Mac Davis's I Believe in Music. And of course she does I Don't Know How to Love Him. And she also has a cover of I'm a Woman on here. But I think she redid I'm a Woman later on before that was a hit for her. Because this one sounds a little different. Next up, a guy I like to listen to, Jesse Cullen Young. This is American Dreams. This is from 78 on Electra. This is a promo copy. On side 1, he does a couple covers like of Ray Vaughan and Knock on Wood. On side 2, it's a suite, pretty much a 17-minute long suite that he did. And another one that I enjoyed listening to. I'll just put it that way. Making sure I got out of them from... Yes, I did. Okay, next up. From 85, Olivia Newton-John, Soul Kiss. I enjoy Olivia Newton-John's singing voice and listening to her. I say that with a lot of women singers I know, female singers. Of course, I know a lot of guys like looking at the album covers on some of the albums like this one too. But I didn't recognize don't recognize any of the songs on here for being hits, but I did thoroughly enjoy that one. That's from 85 on MCA. This one's from 78 on MCA. This is Olivia Newton-John, Totally Hot. This has a hit, A Little More Love on it. She does like Boats Against the Current on here, and she does a cover of Give Me Some Lovin' on here. Okay, from 66 Mono on Fontana Records. This is the new vaudeville band, Winchester Cathedral. Of course, it has a hit, Winchester Cathedral, on here, and they do a cover of There's a Kind of Hush. But they have more of don't know how you describe that sound, sort of like the sound on Winchester Cathedral. That sounds about like that most way through the album. There's 2 or 3 songs where it doesn't. Next up, from 1981, Asia, Asia. Need I Say More? Classic album. Just like with the next one, Asia Alpha. Well, all 3 of these Asias are on Geffen. First one was from 81. This one's from... first one's from 82. This one's from 83. This, of course, this has a smile. I should say the first one has Heat of the Moment and Only Time Will Tell on it. Where the kids on it. This one has The Smile Has Left Your Eyes. And the Heat Goes On. And Don't Cry. And then from 1985, Astra. This is after... Steve Hall left the band. The songs I really like on here are Go, Voice of America, and Rock and Roll Dreams is the biggie for me. Okay, now I'm going back to the 70s for most of these. Bay City Roller. This is pretty much her debut album. course, it has songs like Sing Lang, Angel Angel, and Remember Sha La La La, Saturday Night, uh, Summer Love Sensation. This is a German pressing that I have here, and it's a gatefold. It's from, should try to remember the year, it's on Bell Records. Well, actually, it shows Arista. Actually, it's on Arista. I'll show you this. And on the cover, it says Bill, but it's on Arista. And it's from 74. Next up, some more Bay City Rollers from 77. It's a game. This one, they have more of a rock sound to it. This is one where they do You Made Me Believe in Magic on it. And they also do The Way I Feel Tonight in here. They do a cover of David Bowie's Rebel Rebel on it also. Next up, from 72, the Stories, the song Kama Sutra. Not really sure whether any songs off here made it into the top 40, but this album is just a good album from the early 70s. I just enjoyed listening to it. It's a type of stuff has a typical sound from the early 70s where bands trying to get their start at the sounds that I like to listen to. I think there's a lot of other people that like that sound, and also from the early 70s. Next up, Jon Stewart. Okay, that Kingston Trio on my shoulder here. Jon Stewart used to be a member of Kingston Trio. Then he went out on his own solo. Well, in 79, he had a big break with this album. This is Bombs Away Dream Babies. I have a white label promo copy here. Members of Fleetwood Mac played with him on here, like Lindsey Buckingham and also Stevie Nicks did some backup vocals on here, and just making sure. Couldn't remember whether Kristen McVie did some backup vocals or not. I'm just looking through the credits real fast on here. Doesn't look like it. I see Mary Kay Place on vocals on one of the songs. But this one is the one with this Big Cat Gold, and also has Last Turn of the Sun and Midnight One on it. Next up, from 78 on Chrysalis, this is Nick Gelder, City Nights. This is an album that has a hit, Hot Child in the City on it. And it's just a thoroughly enjoyable album. Okay, Andrew Gold. This is also from 78. This is on Asylum. This is the name of the album is All This in Heaven 2. This is the album with his hit song Thank You for Being a Friend. It later on went on to be the theme song for the TV show The Golden Girls. This album is pretty good. I liked a lot of songs better than that song on this album even, and just listening to it through, like I said, I record the full sides and stuff listening to it. And I'm trying to start including more, listening to classical a little more. I have a lot of classical. This one, the cover's not the greatest on, but this is Eric Langsdorff, The Sound of Wagner, or Wagner as people pronounce it in English. This is just some stuff by Wagner, some of his music, but I got it because stuff like this makes good introductions to people for their music. I mainly knew Ride of the Valkyries. I'm not a big Wagner fan, but Ride of the Valkyries I liked. Especially after her with the Muppets with Gonzo. I think it's in like the Muppet movie or one of the Muppet movies where he goes to the Ride of the Valkyries for his song for launching out of the canon. Okay, this album here is the one I had set aside. This group is from Fort Dodge, Iowa. I think I've said I was born and raised in Iowa. Well, it started out as pretty much as one guy where he had recorded some demo tapes of songs, and his wife persuaded him to send the tapes to record companies. Well, one of the songs he recorded was Zombie She's Not There, Tell Her Nor's one of them. And one of the guys that heard his demo tape was one of the former members of the Zombies that was working at Columbia at that time. And he really liked his cover of it. And so he was interested in him. And that around the same time, Capitol was also interested. So this guy, I thought, oh, but I don't have a band together, so he got a band together. The way they got the name wasn't for being from the Hawkeye State or anything. It was from the first initial of the last name of the guys in the group. The last names are Hearn, Adams, Wewell, or something like that. Kaufman and Steen. And they had this is from 1981 on Columbia. This is a promo copy that I have here. I think I said it's on Columbia from 81, and they had a couple Billboard Hot 100 hits on here. That's all the music I have for now. Like I said, I started a new series yesterday called Tim's 70s Memories and Music. I'll post a link for that video down below, and also I said in my last video I started a new Facebook group called 70s Music Geeks. I'll also post a link to that page so you to that group so you can go check it out. Well, that's all I have for this time. Until next time, take it easy and keep on rocking.